Alright guys, welcome back to another Cichlidscape video. Thanks for tuning in if you are a returning subscriber. If not, make sure you hit that sub button down below because only 10% of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So I would appreciate that. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Nicrew internal filter. I've seen MD fish tanks use internal filters quite a lot recently, so thought I'd give them a whirl, and I actually thought it would be perfect for what I want in the 55-gallon angelfish jungle with the aquarium jungle val kind of seeping over. So let's take a look at it. We're going to set it up in this video, take a look at what it has to offer and its certain components, and then we're going to take a look at it on the tank. So let's go. Alright guys, so this is the package it came in. I ordered this off Amazon. Can't actually remember the price, but I'll throw that on the screen right now. In terms of performance, I think this is rated for a 20 to 40 gallon. I would put it on a 55 with a hang on the back filter as well, so this should work out really well. Structural diagram we've got there, it looks like we've got some carbon media that might come in with it that I'll probably replace with bio, and then a pretty decent sized sponge. So let's get this thing open and see what we're dealing with. So there looks like there's some of the components for the outlet of the filter, so let's put those to the side for now. Like we've got a pretty decent size instruction manual with pages 1 to 8 of English, so probably won't check that out because fish keepers never do. We just learn by doing. So this actually attaches via suction cups to the side or the back of your aquarium, so hopefully these guys are good enough to withstand time, because I do notice that some of my other suction cup equipment just kind of loses its suction after a while. Open this and we've got a decent size sponge in there. This is going to help mechanically filter the aquarium water. You could cut this a little bit and throw some polyfill in there as well if you wanted to, but for right now let's throw that back in, and I will be washing all this stuff before I get it started. So I guess that is where all those attachments come in. Disconnects very easily. Looks like we've got some kind of top there that prevents it from going into the motor. And then here is the little bit of carbon. I'm expecting this to be really dirty. Yes, it is. So before you put that in new aquariums, if you do want to use carbon, I would suggest washing that bad boy out. I won't be using carbon in this tank, so that's no problem. Let me try and get this open. And there is the little media tray that the carbon was a part of. Obviously it's not too large, but it could do a job. And it could hold some beneficial media if you wanted it to. So I'll actually be taking some of the O-rings out of my current hang on the back to, throw some of them in there, and then keep some of the beneficial bacteria that's in that filter and transfer it to this one. So that's pretty much it. Really simple. Motor is there. That sticks on to there. You've got a few little grates as well. Now let's check out everything that it comes with. I think this thing here is for if you want like a little bubbler in your tank. I'm not going to be using that, so that can go over there. And then here you've got the rest of the attachments. So in terms of all these pieces, looks like I'm going to be using this, which just easily screws in there. Tighten it to be facing all the way up, and then looks like we clip that thing on, then this, and this is essentially now the outlet of the filter, just like on a canister filter or something of that nature. So as you can see, the outlet is there, that sticks to the aquarium, and you go from there. So let's get this on the tank and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so as I mentioned, the filter will be going in the corner of this aquarium here. I'll then get to move the heater over as it'll be stuck onto this back panel. I do have an AquaClear 50 running on here at the minute, and I also did this past weekend and planted a little pothos in this corner that I think looks pretty cool. DIY'd a little light on there, so hopefully this bad boy will grow, and my aim is to have this all over the walls of this room, which I think will look quite cool and natural. In terms of this filter, I don't necessarily mind how it's running right now. It does throw out a lot of water flow, but the water comes crashing down instead of being flowed across the top, so I think the new internal filter will work a little bit better. So the only thing that's in this right now, I don't know if you can see, kind of, is biomedia. So I'll be taking out as much of this biomedia as possible and putting it in the internal filter, and then we can go from there. So let's get the filter on the aquarium and see what the flow's like on it. So we're going to take the AquaClear 50 off the left hand side of the 55 and just simply replace it with the internal filter. I might lose a little bit of biological media because I do have quite a lot in this AquaClear 50. I don't think I'll be able to fit too much of it into the internal filter, but we'll see how that goes, and obviously we'll try and fit as much into it as we can, because we won't be using the carbon that was actually delivered with the filter. Anything that won't fit into the internal filter can then go into the other AquaClear 50 that I've got on the right side of the tank. So I don't think I'll lose too much bio capacity in this tank after this move, but to be honest, I don't think I need too much, because the amount of plants I've got in here is gonna do the job and help clean the water and stuff instead. So let's crack on with that, see what we can get in terms of the biomedia in this filter, and then get it running. So as we touched on briefly at the start of the video when we were going over the components, the amount of components on this filter is just awesome. You can, get little things to tinker with, like the bubbling tube and that kind of thing, but for the most part, if you just want to set up a nice little super easy filter, then this internal filter from Nicrew is right up your alley. Definitely easier than a hang on the back or a canister or a sump. Obviously you don't have the massive amount of capacity that those types of filtration have, but for this tank with the amount of plants and that kind of thing, I don't think this is going to really matter. I did manage to fit 2 columns of bio rings into this filter. I probably got around 18 or 20 bio rings in there. So a little bit of bio capacity, but then you've just got a simple sponge. You just clip these in, put the filter housing onto the main component where the motor is, and then you can just fit your tube in from there. So really simple. Definitely a nice little easy beginner filter if you're new to the aquarium hobby and you just kind of want a little filter. It's going to provide biological filtration and then obviously mechanical filtration with the sponge. You can also add chemical if you want to use any carbon or any little pouches of Purigen. Obviously you will then offset the amount of bio media that you can put in there. But if you didn't want to use the sponge and you just wanted it to be a nice little house for biological bacteria and chemical bacteria, you could absolutely just throw this in a tank in combination with your HOB or anything like that. So it's a pretty versatile filter, and yeah, really excited to get using it. Obviously this is a relatively short-term review. By the time this video comes out, I've probably only had this filter running a month or 2 in this tank. But let's get it running, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on how it's running, the flow, and kind of the maintenance on it as well, because as you can imagine, it's relatively easy. So we've got it plugged in, guys, and as you can see, the flow coming from this thing is pretty substantial. To be honest, for this tank, I might need to go down to the lower level. I think this is the 20 to 40 gallon. I might need to go down to the 10 to 20 gallon, just because obviously I've got angelfish in this tank and they're not the strongest swimmers. So we'll have to see how this goes, but so far so good. The jungle valve is really sweeping across the top like I wanted it to do. And it just looks like a canister filter output. I mean, very similar in terms of the flow rate to the Sun canister filter that I'm using in my other 55 gallon right now, as if, you know, that's what it looks like to me right now. Obviously it's not been in the tank for too long, so we'll have to see how it holds up once it slowly gathers debris, uneaten fish food, fish poop, that kind of thing. But first impressions of this filter is really, really good. In terms of maintenance, I am sure it will be super easy to maintain. I do have a little worry about the suction cups, because sometimes they can be cheaply made on, you know, heaters and that kind of thing, and they can fall off. So I will be on the lookout for that. But so far, so good with this one. Really excited to use this in the fish room, and I'll probably end up getting a few more. And I might end up adding one to the 125 gallon South American tank, just to add a little bit of extra flow, because obviously right now I've only got the FX6 filter and then a few sponge filters. But for this video, guys, we're pretty much done. I hope you've enjoyed this and the look at the Nicrew Internal Filter. I will leave a Amazon affiliate link in the description, so if you want to check it out, please do so. I'll also leave some other links into the description for items that I currently use in the fish room if you like the look of this tank or anything else like that. I appreciate you watching, guys. Make sure you hit that sub button if you haven't already. Like the video if you've stayed till now, and leave me a comment down below on what you think to this source of filtration, what source of filtration you prefer, and we can have a discussion in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.